very warm good morning to all diligent participants. After successfully completing the last 6 days of this lecture series, we are here at the end of our lecture series. Today is the last day of this 1 week online access series on agriculture practices and approaches. Today we are moving toward agroforestry as forest plays a crucial role in monsoon cycle, which is very important for cultivating healthy crops. And to cover this discipline of agriculture, we are pleased to introduce eminent speaker Dr. S.B.S. Pandey, Associate Professor and Head of Department of Silviculture and Agroforestry, College of Horticulture and Forestry, Jhalawar, Agriculture University, Kota, is a committed forest educationist in Rajasthan. He has completed his post-graduation from Forest Research Institute, Dehradun in 1999, qualified ICR Net in forestry subject for 3 times. He has been also awarded with gold medal for PhD Forestry by Navsari Agriculture University in 2018. Dr. Pandey has published more than 20 research papers, 16 reading and practical manuals, 11 articles, conducted more than 6 training and a training of 25 days, a SCI on nursery worker for farmer foresters. He is also organized national seminar as coordinator and organizing secretary and delivered so many lectures on silviculture, nursery and agroforestry time to time. We are very glad to have Dr. Pandey lecture on importance of agroforestry system for doubling the farmer income.
Thank you for providing me an opportunity to speak against Dr. K.N. Modi University talk. I thanks to the organizing committee, Dr. Gunjit Kaur Madam, Dr. Utesh Sharma sir, and Dean of Agriculture, Dr. K.P. Sharma sir, for providing me such an opportunity to give a message of my subject to the entire students and faculty of your esteemed institute. So now today my topic is on agroforestry. Next. My theme is importance of agroforestry systems for doubling the farmer's income. Next. So as per the our Prime Minister's motto. Next, please. Next slide. Yes. No, back. As per our Prime Minister's motto, each and every farmer should have enhancement in his income, and the concept was termed as DFI, or doubling the farmer's income. But most of the people don't know what is DFI. They generally understood in a layman language that inflation is going on, and year after year, automatically the farmers will get doubling in income. But it is not so. This is a very systematic approach, doubling the farmer's income. In its, the average farm income levels in India and other states has been evaluated, and 7-point mantra for doubling the farmer's income launched by our Honorable Prime Minister. And in my presentation, it will be covered in detail with all the agroforestry practices, concept and implications. Next, please. Next slide. Yes. So why doubling the farmer's income? हमें फार्मर की इनकम डबल करने की जरूरत क्या है स्टूडेंट्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से? The thing is that agricultural contribution to our gross domestic product is comparatively less and reducing over a period of time from 23.4% in 9th 5-year plan to 15.2% in 11th 5-year plan. That means the raw material produced by farming community is decreasing day by day. Rapid growth is very necessary to attain inclusive growth since a major source of livelihood of majority is agriculture in India. Employment share of agriculture has been reduced from 64.8% in 93-94 to 48.9% in 2011-12. There is a virtual need to look at agriculture in terms of source of livelihood for a major portion of community instead of their productivity. Next. So it indicates that people are taking less interest in the agricultural sector or in the agricultural activities. They are deviating from agricultural operations. Next. Next slide. Yes. So what is the doubling farmers' income? Its inception is our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi expressed his desire of doubling farmers' income by the year 2020. While addressing a farmers rally in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh on February 28, 2016. That means he is sure that within 6 years, each and every farmer will get its doubled income. So base year in this concept is 2015-16 by the agricultural year 22-23. Required agricultural growth rate for this concept for DFI in 2022, an annual growth rate of 10.46% every year is required 2016 to 22 regularly. And if there is some decrease in growth in any year, then we have to increase our growth in next year. What is sought to be the doubled? The income of the farmers, not the output or value added by the GDP of the agriculture sector. So income of the farmer means the real income of the farmers. That is, the farmer should have the increased purchasing capacity, that is doubled. Next, please. Approaches in this concepts, strategies and percent increase in farmers' income. If we see what are the strategies from the government side, government policies and development of the infrastructure contribute to 30-35%. Productivity improvement by the farmer is 30-35%. Cost optimization is 10-20%, and value addition and minimization of PHL is 20-30%. Promotion of ancillary activities, poultry, beekeeping, goat rearing, agroforestry, fisheries, etc. contribute to 10-15%. Then it is approximately 100%. Next, please. The current approaches for measuring the farmer's income. The mission of doubling the farmer's income requires the accurate information on certain indicators which reflect the farmer's income and welfare. For accounting farmer's income, past studies have largely used data regarding growth in agricultural output and input price behavior along with price spread, raise in wages and rising indebtedness using farm business income from CAPC, Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices data. Second is CSO, aggregate and disaggregate farm income. And next is NASO, NSSO, income purely on the basis of situation of assessment of survey. Next, this is very good pictorial representation of average monthly income per agriculture household in India. That is presently 48% from the cultivation of agriculture, and other side is side job to survive by the attempts of farmer and his family. So the present situation is that average monthly income for agricultural household in India is 6,426 rupees per month. The different components have been shown that 32% from the wages or salaries, 8% from the non-farm business, and 12% from the animal husbandry sector. It has to be increased, that is double, that is approximately 12 to 13,000 per month per household. Next. So growth in per capita monthly agriculture income can be shown as average monthly income per capita from farming increased to rupees 1,060 in 2003 to 3,844 in 2013. Compounded annual income growth rate, that is CAGR, or you can say compound annual growth rate, 13.7% nominal terms without taking inflation into account. This is the normal compounded annual growth rate in case of agricultural sector. Doubling the farmers' income by 2022 is 15% CAGR is required. Presently, the condition is 13.7, but it is required 15% per annum without any interruption. But to increase the income in real terms would imply restructuring agricultural processes and policy interventions. Next. So there are two types of income, real income or nominal income. Nominal income is income with inflation, and real income is income without inflation. What is the actual purchasing power of a particular person or farmer is termed as real income. Therefore, in inflation in agricultural prices is high, in nominal terms, farmers' income will double in a much shorter period. If we account the inflation too, then doubling of income is like fixing capital in the bank with respect to rate of interest, that is in very shorter period it may be doubled. But in real sense it is very difficult, as the input prices also becomes costlier. Twice over the last 30 years, farmers' income of nominal prices almost double in 6 years. Once between 1987-88 to 92-93, and then between 2004-5 to 9-10. This has been achieved automatically in past. In current price terms, value added per worker in agriculture has increased by 28 times between 1980-81 to 2014-15. But in constant price, in real terms, value added per worker in agricultural increased to 1.8 times between 1980-81 to 2010-11. Next. Doubling of real income by 2023 would require a compound growth rate of 10.46% per annum. Next, please. Next slide. So the possibility is Madhya Pradesh has registered 14.2% growth in real agri GDP between 2008 to 2014. Madhya Pradesh has achieved maximum GDP in case of agricultural sector in last 5-6 years. Gujarat, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Bihar have witnessed the agri growth in excess of 7%. During 78 to 86, China's farm income grew at 14% per annum and agri GDP at 7.1%. China's performance by the agricultural growth helped the country to half its poverty in just 6 years. It generated a huge demand for industrial products in rural areas, which were met by scaling up town and village enterprises. Next. So, in this presentation, we can see the state-wise level of income and doubling time in the years. It is a calculated method, but in reality, the agricultural production depends on so many things. First of all is the optimum time to get monsoon, or you can see the present condition of novel COVID-19. It has created a lot of problem in sowing of so many kharif crops. If the area decreases, then automatically the production will decrease. So it is assumed that all things will be sound or okay. So state-wise level of income in rupees, you can see 2002-3 to 2012-13, and CAGR in percent nominal and real, and doubling time in the years at the rate given by CAGR, nominal and real. You can see state-wise in Rajasthan, the real income of farmer can be doubled in 7.72 years in the present situation. And the average income rupees per annum is 17,976. So we can see that we are lucky in many states. The time is more than 10 years for doubling the income. In real sense, it is more than 10 years, but in case of Rajasthan, it is 7.72 years. Next. So now we see what is the concept given by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Ji Modi. It is a 7-point mantra, that is doubling the farmer's income, achieving the goal. The first mantra is big focus on irrigation with large budgets with the aim of per drop more crop. The emphasis is on the more crop production using the latest technologies to save our precious water. Next concept is provision of quality seeds and nutrients based on soil health of each field. This is very important point for the agricultural students as well as farmer community. If you have not tested the soil health, what are the deficiencies in the soil, and even you are using very costlier seeds or good quality or good varieties of the field crops, then it may happen that result may not be getting in that relation. You are having very costlier and good quality seed, and soil is not supporting the germination or growth of the field crops, then you cannot have the better production. You cannot have the concept of doubling income. So soil health should be checked after harvesting or sowing of any crop. It is not a phenomena of having soil testing for 1 year or after a gap of 3 or 4 years. It should be done before sowing and after harvesting every time. So the large investment, next is large investment in the warehousing and cold chains to prevent post-harvest crop losses. Crop losses should be minimized by having the good post-harvest technologies, or by having the good cold chains, or you can say cold houses. If to enhance or to increase our production, there are two things. One, to increase the productivity or production, and another to decrease the wastage or losses. So if we are increasing and we are not decreasing our losses or wastage, and we could not achieve our concept doubling the farmer's income. The next concept in this is promotion of value addition through food processing. This is also very important thing, that if we are increasing the production and it cannot be consumed within a confined period, then there are chances of getting wastage of the food products in case of agricultural production. So we must have the value addition to save our increased or enhanced production to get some additional amount of money. Next is in creation of a national farm market, removing distortions and e-platforms across 585 stations. Now you would be very happy that due to this novel COVID-19 situation, the government has also implemented that the farmer can sell his produce in the country. So this is now already resolved. Next is introduction of a new crop insurance scheme to mitigate the risk at affordable cost. So the crop insurance is a very less known to the farmers, and it should be mandatory to each and farming community which are having mid to higher size of land holding, that is, if, and it is also important for low holding farmers, as in case of low holding the risk is more. If you are not getting the produce, then you would be in empty hand situation. So crop insurance must be taken by the farmers to mitigate the risk of natural calamities like flood, drought, or insect attack. That is, you are aware that presently the locust or tiddy attack is very high in Rajasthan. So crop insurance is very important. Promotion of ancillary activities like poultry, beekeeping, fisheries. These are very important side with agricultural activity. Next, please. So flagship schemes to achieve this goal is doubling the farmer's income goal with many new and well thought out schemes. That is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, E-National Agriculture Market, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, and Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. All these are very good schemes launched by the Honorable Prime Minister to achieve the DFI concept. Next, please. So how this DFI concept will survive? Now we can say the drivers of DFI concept. Next slide, please. Diversification. Next slide, please. Diversification of farm activities toward high value crops and enterprises. So crop diversification is the most important thing to achieve the doubling the farmer's income. Crop diversification is a process that in our country, normally what happens, farmers see the neighborhood of their villages that one is getting good profit by cultivating onion or garlic or ginger or anything else. So lot of farmers start to cultivate that crop from the next year, but it results in the opposite direction. When the output of a particular crop increases, then the demand for that commodity decreases as per the economics law. If you are having more production, then you have to sell it at low price. So crop diversification is a concept that each and every farmer should have the definite goal that if you are getting the more profit from the garlic production, then all should not grow the garlic. Only an optimum land holding should be cultivated on a particular crop to avoid the losses due to low prices in future. Different types of crops should be grown in on different land holdings. And crop diversification is also important with respect to season, that is Rabi, Kharif and Chaya. Is very good phenomena. You can see there are so many new fruits occur in all the geographical areas. In Rajasthan, apple bear or Thai bear and Thai melon and Thai guavas also you can see. These crops are having good production under the crop diversification. Next is irrigation, which can double the productivity by means of adopting the efficient irrigation system. We can enhance our productivity. In this next concept is better price realization for the farmers through the competitive markets, value chains, and improved linkages between field and farm. Improvement in the terms of trade for agriculture, that is also being adopted. E-Mandi, you can sell the product anywhere. Technology upgradation means the integrated farming approach is being adopted by means of all the technology. You can see the drones are being used to spray on locust population for the efficient control. It is technology upgradation. Making farming less farmer intensive means using the mechanized agriculture to minimize the expenditure on the manual labor. Shift of cultivars from farming to non-farming occupations. Cultivators should not be moved to the non-farming sector. So next please, these are the drivers for the now in this slide we can see the increase in yield due to drip irrigation over surface irrigation. So what is the enhancement in yield in percentage, crop wise, or in income due to adaptation of drip technology? So in cotton, if we use drip, then 11% income increases, or you can say we can have additional income of 18,550 rupees. Likewise, in case of sugarcane, 60%, brinjal 39%, banana 26%, castor 11%, papaya 23%, watermelon 14%, and turmeric 18%. These are the average results. If you use more efficiently, you can again enhance these increase. That is, in case of cotton, if we are showing 11%, you can have 21% or 30% if you are having much more efficient technology combinations. Next, now the question comes, overviewing all these things, the concept of doubling the farmers' income, what should be the strategy to increase the income of farmers? So our Honorable Prime Minister has envisioned 7-point strategy that I have told you earlier, double the income of farmer by 2020. So the big focus on irrigation with large budgets with the aim of per drop more crop. Government is investing more and more for adaptation of technology by the farmers for per drop more crop. Provision of quality seeds and nutrients based on soil health of each field. Large investment in warehousing and cold chains, cold storages to prevent the post-harvest losses for the storage of the feed crops. Promotion of value addition through the food processing, that is post-harvest or value addition. Creation of a national farm market, removing distortions and e-platforms across 585 stations in the country. Introduction of a new crop insurance scheme to mitigate risk at affordable cost. There are so many crop insurance schemes are being launched by different insurance agencies. The farmer should get all these schemes to have the better productivity or avoiding the risk. Promotion of ancillary activities like poultry, beekeeping, fisheries, etc. Next slide, please. So now, till this point, I think all of you must understood what is the concept of doubling the farmer's income. Normally, लोग क्या सोचते हैं कि आज हमारे को प्रॉफिट 1000 रुपए का हो रहा था, कल 2000 रुपए का प्रॉफिट हो गया तो हमारी इनकम डबल हो गई. But this is not the case. Doubling the farmer's income is different phenomena. अगर आज आपके पास 1000 रुपए प्रॉफिट में बचते हैं और उससे आप जो सामान खरीद सकते हैं उसकी कीमत 1000 या उससे ज्यादा है और फ्यूचर में अगर आप 2000 या उससे ज्यादा की चीजें खरीद सकते हैं तब डबलिंग हुई. मतलब आपको ये सारी चीजें देखनी है कि इनपुट की कॉस्ट भी बढ़ रही है. अगर आपका आउटपुट 1000 मिला तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है आपकी इनकम डबल हो गई, 2000 मिल गया. आपका इफ यू आर हैविंग द सीड्स कॉस्टलियर, पेस्टिसाइड्स कॉस्टलियर, fungicides costlier, electricity charges are being increased day by day, then in this context one have to be very clear that you can achieve the concept of doubling the farmer's income if you achieve a benefit cost ratio of 3.85. BCR समझते हैं ना आप, लाभ लागत रेशो, ठीक है ना. अगर आपको 1 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करके 3 रुपए 85 पैसे वापस मिल रहे हैं तब आप ये कह सकते हो कि आपकी इनकम डबल हो गई. दिस इज द जिस्ट ऑफ ऑल दीज प्रेजेंटेशन. इफ यू आर investing 1 rupees and you are getting 2 rupees, then it is not the doubling of income. So now the second part is what is agroforestry, how we can understood the agroforestry, what are the practices of agroforestry, and what are the implications of agroforestry in case of agriculture or forest community. So agroforestry is a well-known branch being studied under agriculture as well as in forestry. So we can understood clearly by this definition that agroforestry denotes a sustainable land and crop management system that strives to increase yields on a continuing basis by combining the production of woody forestry crops, including fruit and other tree crops, with arable or field crops and or animals simultaneously or sequentially on the same unit of land, and applying management practices that are compatible with the cultural practices of the local population. So we can say that agroforestry is a combination of agricultural crops and tree crops with livestock or animal component. This is, in nutshell, the agroforestry. The productivity in agroforestry system is higher as compared to sole cropping system because higher yield of crops has also been observed in forest than soil than in ordinary soil. That is the agroforestry system soils are somewhat better in comparison to sole cropping system. We can see in next slide. Next, now we can understand all these things that by means of intercropping. Intercropping is the cultivation of two or more crops at the same time in the field. India is the largest producer and exporter of ginger. More than 50% ginger production is in India, and more than 75% of the total world production of turmeric is being produced in India. Ginger and turmeric are the main crop which are cultivated under agroforestry systems, or you can say in intercropping. Originally practiced as an insurance against crop failure under rainfall conditions. You can understand that the intercropping is important. If the main crop gets failure, then you can have the production from the other crop. Presently, to achieve the stability in the production and higher productivity per unit area, it is important judicious utilization of resources, that is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, with increased total productivity. You can have judicious utilization of the resources. Insurance against total crop failure and under apparent weather conditions or pest epidemics. Next slide. Different aspects of intercroppings are detailed planning. One should have a detailed concept. What should be grown in which season, that is Kharif, Rabi, and Jayak, and what tree species or fruit trees should be planted, and what should be the time of planting and aftercare for each crop, adequate fertilization, FIM, or you can say vermicompost application at optimum doses and times, effective weed control or weed management practices, pest and disease control, efficient harvesting of the produce for both the crops, that is in case of agriculture as well as in forestry, and the post-harvest processing is required, and assured marketing and optimum time. If you are producing very good in both the system, in agroforestry, that is crop is also very good and the tree component is also very good, but you're not being able to sell at that time, or simultaneously if you're not getting the market, then you will not incur a good profit. Next, please. So if you do intercropping in fruit orchards, then fruit crops as intercrop. Next slide, please. Next slide. Hello. Fruit crops as intercrops. short term and early bearing in case of fruit crops as an intercrop, due consideration is essential in the selection of a particular fruit. This is essential because the roots of such trees may start competing with the roots of male fruit trees for the nutrient and moisture. The filler trees, unless removed at appropriate time when primary fruit trees start giving economic crop, may create problems of low orchard.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Ah, yes. So now we can have intercropping in fruit orchards also, because in our Hadoti region, so many farmers are growing fruit crops. So in fruit orchards, we can have different intercrops, short term and early bearing of the fruit crops as an intercrop. So due consideration is essential in case of selection of a crop, that you can have mango, mandarin, or you can have custard apple, you can have guava. This is essential because the roots of big trees may start competing with the roots of main fruit trees for nutrients and moisture. The filler trees, unless removed at appropriate time when the primary fruit trees start giving economic crop, may create problems of low orchard efficiency. Whenever pineapple and strawberry can be grown, these may serve as an ideal intercrop. There is no competition between strawberry and pineapple, because strawberry is having very shallow root system and pineapple is having deep root system. Next slide. Whenever the frost hazard is less, next slide please, an intercrop of papaya can be taken profitably in mango or chard. Next slide. In a mango chard, if likewise in northern plains in India, Sharbati peach can be excellent intercrop for mango or chard, and falsa and guava could also be included in early stages of growth of trees, provided these are maintained properly by adequate pruning and removal at proper time. Very good. From forestry as well as horticulture point of view. Next slide.
Yes, sir.
So other examples, we can have different vegetables as intercrop in combination of the different fruit crops, that is guava, grapes, papaya, citrus, and peach. Lychee and mango are also very good fruit crops. You can have turmeric, ginger, bitter gourd, bottle gourd, tomato, radish, and cauliflower. With lychee and mango, likewise with guava, you can have cauliflower, French bean, peas, lobia, mung bean, cucurbits. With grapes, you can have peas, cauliflower, French bean, chilies, spinach, marigold, gladiolus, and jasmine. With papaya, we can have onion, tomato, capsicum, peas, and cauliflower. With citrus, we can have okra, peas, bottle gourd, bitter gourd, tomato, onion, cauliflower. And with peach, we can have ginger, turmeric, soybean, or cowpea. Next, please. So now the point comes, what should be the main crux in intercropping? That is, principles of intercropping. The first principle of intercropping is most important, that intercrops should occupy a secondary place in the orchard, primary consideration being given to the perennial fruit trees. So it is very clear that you should have the main emphasis on the management aspects of the orchard trees, not on the field intercrops. Next point is the crops that may grow tall and have tendency toward the excessive growth should be discouraged. जो क्रॉप्स आपकी बहुत ज्यादा हैवी और बड़ी होती हैं, उनको उगाना कम करना चाहिए. Tall trees with heavy crown should not be grown. At least 120 centimeter radius around the tree should be left free for taking intercrops. आपको कोई भी इंटरक्रॉप 1 से 1.25 मीटर के आसपास मेन ट्री के स्टेम से नहीं लेनी है. No interculture operation, tractor or anything should be done apart from 1 to 1.5 meter distance from the main tree. Such intercrops should be selected that they do not exhaust the nutrients and moisture from the soil, so essential for the growth of the fruit trees. Perennial or exhaustive crops should be discouraged as intercrop in the orchard. The crops which demand heavy fertilizer should not be grown in the fruit orchards. This may have devitalizing effect on the growing trees. For example, sugarcane, pigeon pea, maize, jowar should invariably be excluded from an intercropping program in the orchard. Next slide, please. So, what are the advantages of intercropping? Intercropping gives additional income or yield per unit area than the main or sole crop. This is the first advantage. Second is intercrops maintain the soil fertility as the nutrient uptake is made from the both layers of soil. Agricultural crops or field crops take the nutrients from the upper surface of the soil, whereas the tree crops or fruit crops take the nutrients from the deeper or lower surfaces of the soil. So you can have the nutrient uptake in a balanced way. Reduction in soil runoff and controls the weed. Weed control and soil loss due to erosion is very good. Soil loss is stopped or reduced by growing different types of crops. Intercrops provide shade and support to the other crop. Intercropping system utilizes resources efficiently and their productivity is increased. Whole of the time, whole time round the year, the laborers are engaged either in field crop or in fruit trees or in forest trees. Intercropping with cash crop is highly profitable. Next, so we can say intercropping is a process by which we can make more profit and nutrient rich soil. So the disadvantages of intercropping, some disadvantages are also there. Yield decreases as the crops differ in their competitive abilities. Management of intercrops having different cultural practices seems to be difficult task. Improved implements cannot be used efficiently. Fixed implements can be used by farmer because you cannot use large tractors randomly. Higher amount of fertilizer or irrigation water cannot be utilized properly as the component crops vary in their response of these resources. Harvesting is somewhat difficult, or we can say time taking. Next, please. So this is a tabular presentation for the students. I will not go through each and everything. You can understand how the phenomena of intercropping or agroforestry is being realized from these types of analysis. Here we are having different treatments or doses of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. 30 20 30 means 30 nitrogen, 20 kg phosphorus, and 30 kg potash per hectare. And crop is sweet potato, and yield is 11.75 ton per hectare, and cost of cultivation is rupees 9,315, and net return is 20,046, and BC ratio is 2.15. That means if a farmer is investing 1 rupee, then he is getting 2.15 rupees. So this is a very good example. If we see the maximum is 3.99, BCR maximum is 3.99 in case of colocasia when 80 60 80 NPK, and the BCR is 3.99. If farmer is investing rupee 1, then he is getting rupees 3.99 by this crop. Next, please. Now the factors to be taken while choosing the intercrops. Orchard which are nearer to sites or towns, better to grow vegetables as intercrop. Intercrops should be selected so that they do not exhaust the nutrients and moisture from the soil. Young orchards, vegetables which require abundant sunlight can be selected. For old orchards, shade-loving crops can be selected. So this is very important that selection of the crop is very important in case of intercropping. If you are having the giant trees of forestry, that is a shisham, teak, poplar, or you can say eucalyptus, having a height of 20 to 25 meter and good crown, then you should select the shade-loving crops like colocasia, ginger, turmeric. And if the tree crops are very young, they are having only 1 to 2 meter height, you should not select such type of crops. You should select the crops which require abundant sunlight. Then legumes are better choice in case of abundant sunlight. And in poor soils, nitrogen deficient soils, you can also grow the legumes. Vegetables that have their roots with 25 centimeter depth of soil, tomato, onion, cauliflower, beans, radish, etc. All these can be grown. Pest and disease problems are enhanced by growing two or more crops together. Next, please. Take leguminous crops for cover cropping so that nitrogen fixation in orchard is facilitated. Next slide, please. Next slide. Crops like sun hemp, previous, yes, okay. Crops like sun hemp in light soils and dhecha in heavy soils may be grown to protect the orchard from soil erosion. These are the green manures, and they should be used, or they must be used in a year for each and every farmer. If you are having the area free, you are not cultivating, and for 45 days, up to 40 to 45 days, you grow such crops, then you should use as green manure. The productivity enhances very much by the use of green manures. Colocasia, ginger, and turmeric are heavy feeder and should be grown with the supplemental doses of NPK. Crops which are well adapted to climate and soil conditions should be selected. New crops of a different geographical location must not be selected, as it may not give proper benefit, or you can say good growth or results. Exhaustive crops should be discouraged as an intercrop in the orchard, like sugarcane, GNP, or maize. The crops which are having very tall height should not be grown as intercrop in the orchards. They can have the different type of effect on the mature, or you can say fruit trees or forest trees. The crops below the height of the crown initiation, that means आपके जो पेड़ के पत्ते जहां से टहनियां निकलनी चालू होती हैं, उससे नीचे की हाइट के अगर आप पौधे उगाते हैं इंटरक्रॉपिंग में, तब आपका ऑर्चार्ड ज्यादा अच्छा मैनेज और सेफ है. आपको ज्यादा हाइट की सरसों, शुगर केन, और क्या कहते हैं आप, मेज, इस टाइप की क्रॉप्स नहीं लेनी चाहिए. सो नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. This is the very wonderful explanation without any definition, the explanation of what is agroforestry. On one side we see the sole field crops, on another side we see the pure forest, and another side the combination is agroforestry. Some trees are being grown, and in between the spaces of the trees we are growing the field crops. This is a wonderful clear illustration of agroforestry. Next please. The agroforestry is the international combining of agriculture and working trees to create sustainable farming system, that is silviculture, windbreaks, forest farming, and Lect-13. These are different systems under agroforestry systems. Windbreaks are used for the soil conservation purposes in case of wind erosion. Silvicultures are used for catering the needs of our livestock, that is pastures. Fodder grasses are grown with the good fodder trees, and forest farming is growing trees with the agricultural crops, and Lect-13 are the rows of trees with the agricultural crops on the farm bunds. So this is very also pictorial illustration. Next please. Now the question comes, why agroforestry? Why we should choose agroforestry? It produces sellable products, provide value-added opportunities, diversifies the risk. Diversifies the risk means the risk of crop failure or risk of insect pest or disease attack is minimized in case of agroforestry. Increased property values, increases crop yields, and livestock production may be eligible for cost share and land rental payments. Next slide please. Next please. This is the effect of agroforestry, how the trees interacted in a system positively, or you can say negatively, in field. So negative effects are shading or root competition for water and nutrients. A and B is negative effect, whereas C and D are the positive effects. C is the litter fall and pruning biomass of trees increase in carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and other nutrients. And D is the deep-rooted trees play a role as a safety net for leached nutrients in the deeper layer or as a nutrient pump for the fertile soil. So, uh, keeping this slide is the keeping slide in this presentation is my aim is to show that there is no such machine till date evolved by any scientist that the nutrient loss which has gone to the deeper layer of the soil can be uplifted or uptaken by any instrument to the surface soil. Only the high trees, or you can say giant trees, and their deep roots are the source to to uptake these nutrients, to take these nutrients from the deeper layer of the soils, and they take up to the surface layer in the form of litter fall. So the trees are the natural nutrient pump for the fertile soil. So this is all about this. Next, please. How the improvement of soil fertility in agroforestry occurs. This is a very good picture. That leaf litter decomposes and adds the nutrient. Leaves, आपकी पत्तियां जो गिरती हैं वो न्यूट्रिएंट आपके सारे सॉइल में जाते हैं. Even the root systems release the nutrients and improve the soil structure. When they decompose, soil itself हमारी जो एनरिच हो जाती है रूट के डिकम्पोज होने से, और उसमें आपका स्ट्रक्चर इंप्रूव होता है सॉइल का. Some trees capture nutrients lying deep in the soil, too deep for the crops to reach, and bring them to the surface and later return them to soil as a litter, which the crops utilize when it decomposes. So deeper layer के न्यूट्रिएंट्स जो होते हैं वो ट्रीज के द्वारा आपके न्यूट्रिएंट पंप का काम करते हैं, और जो हमारी फील्ड क्रॉप्स, एग्रीकल्चरल क्रॉप्स उस एरिया में उगती हैं उन सबको वो न्यूट्रिएंट्स इजीली अवेलेबल हो जाते हैं. If the leaves and branches are left on the ground to decompose and their nutrients are lost, the tree will have to be nourished with equivalent nutrients added as fertilizer or organic manure. Next, please. This is a very simple illustration. Agroforestry is an old practice, but a new science. The ape man used to have the farming practices in the Stone Age. He used to cut the forest trees and used to grow the wheat, or you can say agricultural crops. So this is the agriculture, and rearing their animals also. A multifunctional land use system in which woody perennials, crops, and pastures or animals are simultaneously or sequentially managed on the same unit of land. A specialized way of farming crops and trees in various combinations on the lands. Enhance livelihoods and contribute to resolving climate change effects. Next, please. This is another illustration of agroforestry practices, putting the right plant in the right place for the right purpose. This line is very attractive, putting the right plant in the right place for the right purpose. So these are different illustrations, that is LA cropping, silviculture, forest farming, riparian buffers, windbreaks, and special applications in industrial plantations. Next, please. This is another pictorial illustration of agroforestry, that agroforestry can be practiced on different types of lands. That is, on the farm fields, that is farmers field, or on the roadsides, or you can say on the canal side. Uh, Next is homestead, or you can say home gardens or degraded lands. You can have agroforestry practices on degraded lands or sliding terraces in case of hilly areas, common property resources on the farm and degraded lands. Next, please. Benefits from the agroforestry. So there are certainly so many benefits from the agroforestry. I am here discussing only few. Uh, the first is reduces pressure on the forest. If we are getting the forest products outside from the forest areas with the agricultural fields, or you can say from the roadside tree products, then there is certainly the chances of pressure on the forest reduces for these products. So in a nutshell we can say that कि हम फॉरेस्ट को सेव कर रहे हैं अगर एग्रो फॉरेस्ट्री प्रैक्टिसेस अडॉप्ट करते हैं. Next is efficient recycling of nutrients through mining and deep rooted trees. That has been discussed very clearly. Better protection of ecological systems. We are providing ecological niche to so many animals and you can say plants too by adopting agroforestry practices in our farmlands. Reduction of surface runoff, nutrient leaching and soil erosion. Improvement of microclimates such as lowering of soil surface temperature, of reduction of evaporation of soil moisture through mulching and shading. Increment of soil nutrients through addition and decomposition of litter fall. Next, please. Yes, improvement of soil structure through constant addition of organic matter from the decomposed litter. Very good. Increment in the outputs of food, fuel, wood, fodder, fertilizer, and timber. Reduction in the incidence of total crop failure. The crop failure process may be minimized by adoption of agroforestry practices. Increase in level of farm income and due to improved and sustained productivity in agriculture as well as tree components. Improvement in the rural living standards from the sustained employment and higher incomes. Improvement in nutrition and health due to increased quality and diversity of food outputs. Next, please. This is again the simpler illustration of agroforestry, different aspects of showing agroforestry. That is clean water, clean air, safe and healthy food, abundant wildlife, beautiful places, clean renewable energy, and sustainable family farms. Next, please. These are the data related to agroforestry. A total of 25.32 million hectare, 8.2% of the total geographical area of the country is under agroforestry as per Dhani et al. 2013. 53.32 million hectare area, 17.57% of the total geographical area could come under potential agroforestry system. Average sequestration potential in agroforestry in India is 25 ton carbon per hectare. Carbon sequestration is 25 ton per hectare. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes, these are the glimpses of carbon stocks in different agroforestry systems in India. For the student point of view, this is very rare information. Normally, students don't get all such informations in general books. So, carbon sequestration in agroforestry system occurs below ground, enrichment of the soil carbon and root biomass, and above ground as carbon stored in the standing biomass. Sequestration potential of 68 to 228 million gram carbon per hectare and 25 ton carbon per hectare over 96 mha of land. Agroforestry could store nearly 83.6 ton carbon per hectare up to 30 centimeter soil depth, 26% more carbon compared to cultivation in Haryana plains. Annual carbon sequestration potential of planted tree species on abundant agricultural land is 3.9 ton per hectare per year. On degraded forest land, it is 1.75 ton per hectare per year. And with Dalbergia siso, that is shisham, 0.141 ton carbon per hectare per year, intercropped with wheat and paddy, with agri silvicultural system 31.737 ton carbon per hectare, with monocropping of trees and food crops gave 40% and 84% less than the agri silvicultural, indicating agroforestry systems have more potential to sequester carbon. Dalbergia Siso, at the rate of 11 years age, was able to accumulate 48 to 52 ton per hectare of biomass. This is very important. That is reduction in the pollution also. If the carbon is being stored in the form of wood, this carbon sequestration means the carbon of the environment is being stored in the form of wood, and wood is being utilized for never ending duration in case of furniture making. It is not fuel wood. Dalbergia is not fuel wood species. So 48 to 52 ton per hectare of carbon is very good. Poplar based agri silvicultural system, total biomass in a system was 25.2 ton per hectare, and 113.6% higher than sole wheat cultivation, where net carbon storage was 34.61 ton per hectare compared to 18.74 ton carbon per hectare in sole wheat cultivation. Carbon dynamics tree biomass was 23.61 to 34.49 ton carbon per hectare with black, gram, and mustard crops. Next, please. All these were about carbon sequestration and carbon stock in relation to forest trees. So this is our standard classification of agroforestry systems for purely for the students. They should not get confused about any term or classification. The classification is based on two components, that is structure and function, if we see primarily on the basis of structure and function, and another is according to the agroecological, environmental adaptability, and socioeconomic management level. So on the basis of structure and function, the first is structure, very very important classification. On the basis of structure, the nature and arrangement of the component, especially woody one, come under the structure component. Nature of the component, and under the structure category, on the basis of structure and function, the one category is structure and another is function. And in case of structure, there are two types, that is nature of component and arrangement of component. And nature of component describes four types, that is agri silviculture systems, silvipastoral systems, agro silvipastoral systems, and other systems. Whereas arrangement of systems comprise in space mixed dens, home gardens, mixed sparse, strip, and boundary. And in case of temporal, that is classification on the basis of time, that is coincident, concomitant, overlapping, sequential, and interpolated. Another is function or role or output of the components, that is productive function, protective function, and other functions. Productive function, food, fodder, fuel, and other functions are protective function, that is protection from the environment, protection from the natural calamities, wind break, shelter belts, erosion, soil erosion, all these things come under this. and grouping of the system according to the agroecological environment and socioeconomic. In the case of agroecological environment adaptability, the system in the form of lowland humid tropics, highland humid tropics, lowlands subhumid tropics, and highland subhumid tropics. And on the basis of socioeconomic, the low input marginal and medium input, high input based on cost benefit relations, commercial, intermediate, and subsistence type of farm. This is the whole about the classification. Next is the terms used in agroforestry systems. Next slide. Next, please. Agri-silvicultural systems, where the agricultural crops get the main advantage and forest trees are secondary. Silvipastoral systems, where forest trees got the primary advantage and pasture, grasses, or fodder legumes are grown. Horticultural means agricultural crops are main, but the fruit trees or horticultural crops are grown with them. Silvi-horticultural means agricultural crops are main, but silvi or forest trees are grown with horticultural crops or fruit trees. Shelter bent and wind breaks, where the trees or shrubs are grown to control the wind or water. The next is cropping, when the rows of trees are or strips of trees are used with the interspaces for the agricultural crops, and home gardens are used for multi-strata cultivation in case of Kerala mainly. Next, please. Next slide. Next. Next slide. Agri-silvicultural system. This is the example. No, previous. Previous. Yes. Agri-silvi. This is the example of Acacia mangium, a fast-growing species with the crops. Acacia mangium height is about 25 to 30 meter, DBH is 40 to 45 centimeter, and 5 to 6 cubic feet timber cost about 3,000 rupees per tree in 10 years. And C7 successfully grown up to 4 years of tree growth. The yield recovery is 80 to 85%. Next, please. In this system, the tree species are grown and managed. Agri-silvicultural systems, we are talking about agri-silvicultural systems. The tree species are grown and managed in the farmland along with the agricultural crops. The aim is to increase overall yield of the land. The system is based on principle of sustained yield. Sustained yields, the yield which we are getting today, we must be getting in future without any deterioration in the yield is sustained yield. Woody plants and crops interact both ecologically and economically in agri-silvicultural systems. This system can be of great value if trees and crops are appropriately well managed according to their requirements of food, nutrient, or water. This can solve the problem of shortage food, fuel, wood, timber, and conserve soil moisture content, and also ameliorate the harsh climatic conditions. Next, please. This is the example, pictorial example of agri-silvicultural system, pure and perfect photo of agri-silvicultural system, trees and the crops. Next is Acacia mangium, same photograph with or Melina arborea. In first photograph, we are having Acacia mangium and turmeric. Next is Melina arborea and raroot. Next, please. Next slide. Is agri-silvi system where the tree species are grown, the crops turmeric, ginger, and colocasia. These are very beautiful examples of agroforestry systems. You can see the pure combination, that is turmeric, colocasia, and ginger. These are the crops which can be grown in heavy shade, and they are the long duration crops. The soil is not being disturbed around the year, and they give very good production below the canopy of the very giant trees. But the canopy must not be totally closed. There should be some gap in, or you should get the overhead sunlight at least for 3 to 4 hours. Next please. Yes, agri-silvi system, acacia mengium and pineapple. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is a very good crop with pineapple or acacia mengium. Next picture, next slide is, next please. Next slide was. This is agri-silviculture system, acacia mengium plus patchouli or kalmek. In one picture it is patchouli, and in another is medicinal plant kalmek. Okay. This is a pictorial illustration of silvicultural system which combine the timber, livestock, and forage production on the same acreage. Trees provide longer term returns while livestock generate and some cash income. Next, please. This is again a picture of silvipastoral system. The cattle are being kept freely for the grazing purposes. Next. Now this is the silvipastoral system. In this system, improved pasture species are grown along with the tree species. Here selection of tree species could be either timber alone or for dual purpose, that is fuel and fodder. Next slide please. Next slide. Yes, grass or grass legume mixtures are grown along with the perennial simultaneously or same unit of land. Combining of trees, grasses, and legumes also helps to the conserve soil and fertility status. Uh, in this illustration, the silvipasture is very clear. Hybrid Napier is successfully being grown up to 4 years with 90% yield recovery, and from 5 to 8 years with 80% yield recovery. The yield recovery reduced to 70% with the eucalyptus. In another case, gunia grass successfully grown up to 4 years with 90% yield recovery, and from 5 to 8 years with 75% yield recovery. The yield recovery reduced to 65% with acacia mengium. Next, please. Next slide. What are the benefits of silvipastoral system? The improved plant vigor, lower animal stress, reduced wildfire risk, improved wildlife habitat. That means the habitat is improved by introduction of perennial trees and grasses. Annual income, grazing, hay, straw, etc., all increases the annual income, and long-term income in case of timber. Next, please. Next, please. The slide is not coming. No, previous one. Next, please. Next, 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 please. Next. Next, next, next slide. No, no, this slide is not coming. Hardwickia binata and Sancrociliaris. No, no, back, 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 back. No, no, back, 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 back. Yes, 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 exactly. This slide. This is back Hardwickia binata and Sancrociliaris. This is a very good picture in relation to Rajasthan, especially. Very good and managed trees of Hardwickia binata. Very good trees are grown with the Sancrociliaris. So these are the agri-horticultural systems, and you see all these. This is the silvipastoral system. Uh, in this slide, no, no, the sequence is disturbed. Sir, please take back. Back, back. Come to silvipastoral system in Rajasthan. Hardwickia binata and Sancrociliaris. Hardwickia binata and Sancrociliaris. Back. Next. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, bus. Okay, okay. Just hold. This is very good example. No, no, no. Okay, okay. Just hold. These are the agro-silvipastoral systems. Next. Next, please. Yeah, this is hortisilvipastoral system. When the horticultural trees are grown with forest trees, that is forest trees, acacia mengium, guava is horticultural tree, and stylo or gunia grass is field crop or fodder grass. And next is next please. Next, 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 next. This is previous. Next one. Next one. Yes, this is the multi-layered agroforestry system, and these are the coconut-based agroforestry systems. We are having very good, clear picture. Coconut is very good component in coastal areas. Next, these are the windbreaks. Windbreaks managed to control the wind erosion. Next slide, please. Yes, these are the windbreaks. Next slide. Next, yeah, this is the phenomena of windbreak. How the winds are being controlled by the tree canopy. This is the prevailing direction and the leeward side and windward side. Wind breaks must be semi-permeable by the wind to slow it. So it reduces the wind velocity. Next please, next slide. This is the phenomena how the leaf mulch is important in preventing the splash erosion and promoting the infiltration. So splash erosion is the first stage in case of water erosion. Splash is a phenomena when the raindrops hits the soil particle on soil surface and they are disturbed with water droplets and get as splash. So they prevent the splash erosion, the canopy of the tree, and increases the infiltration. Next, please. These are the homestead agroforestry systems: paddy, coconut, eucalyptus, banana, colocasia. Next is paddy, coconut, eucalyptus, mango. Next, please. Home garden, which is homestead garden, being adopted mainly in Kerala or in South India states. It is an operational farm unit in which a number of crops, including tree crops, are grown with the livestock, poultry, or fish production, mainly for the purpose of meeting routine basis needs of the farmer. You can have banana, you can have citrus fruits, you can have neem, or you can have so many things of ginger, turmeric in northeastern states. This is the next, please. Next slide, please. This is the special picture showing more than 20 species in a picture. That is the agri-horti silviculture system known as home garden. Next slide, please. This is the LA cropping, growing an annual or perennial crop simultaneously in the LA ways between rows of a long-term tree crop. Agricultural crop generates annual income while the long-term tree crops matures. Next, please. LA cropping benefits are likewise other agroforestry systems: diversifies farm enterprise, reduce erosion, improve water quality, protect crops, improve the utilization of nutrients, enhance wildlife habitat, improve aesthetics, and store the carbon. Next, please. Next slide. It is the example of LA cropping of maize with subabul. Here, maize is agricultural crop and subabul is a tree crop which is at initial stage. Next, please. These are the live fences. Live fences are maintained on the field boundaries to protect the farmlands. Next, please. These are the productive functions of agroforestries that agroforestry system provide. Next slide, yes. Food, fodder, fuel wood, other wood, shelter, non-timber forest products, etc. Next, please. These are the protective functions, how they protect our environment: wind break, shelter break, soil conservation, moisture conservation, soil improvement, and shade for animal or farmer. Next, very beautiful picture illustrating the bamboo-based agroforestry systems with ginger and turmeric. The bamboo, in first it is with turmeric, in third it is with turmeric, and in first and second it is ginger and turmeric both. In third it is bamboo and turmeric. Next, please. Turmeric production. Next, please. Turmeric production as alternative adaptive crop. Next slide, please. In areas where other crops are damaged by the wild animals, here turmeric crop is very good in a mature condition. These are the sole cropping. Next slide, please. Sole cropping of turmeric and ginger crop. These crops can also be grown without any shade or intercropping. These can be grown with as a sole crop also. Now next please. Now we can understand the agroforestry practices with the cost benefit analysis, or you can say yield, or you can say improvement in the soil status, or you can say improvement in the soil properties too. So I am having 15 to 16 examples that students can read all these things. Turmeric grown under different tree species. The tree species are Terminalia, Arjuna, Casuarina, Acusatifolia, Metricana, Parviflora, and turmeric varieties are Kesar and Sugandham. So the benefit cost ratio is 2.05 in case of treatment T2C1. T2 means Casuarina, Acusatifolia, and Kesar variety of turmeric. Next, please. Next slide. This is the crop yield ton per hectare of intercrops under different tree species. Different tree species are Ulmus nepalensis, Melia azedricta, Melina arborea, and the crops are ginger and turmeric. The maximum yield found under Ulmus nepalensis in both the cases in each year. This is next, please. Next, this is a yield of Aula and intercrops under agri-horticultural systems. Aula plus turmeric, Aula plus ginger, and Aula plus Arbi. All these shown by Pusa Samastipur. Next, please. This is the economic returns benefit cost ratio, which is 6.29 in case of Aula plus turmeric. 6.29 is a very rare benefit cost ratio to achieve in agroforestry system. So this is very good study, and they have shown that Aula and turmeric give a BCR of 6.29. Next, please. These are the crop sequences along with Populus deltoides. Poplars in a few states. That is, the popular plantation type is boundary plantation or in block plantation. Uttarakhand, in case of Uttarakhand state, earlier it was Uttar Pradesh, and paddy plus wheat with poplar, sugar cane, paddy, kharif, sugar cane, wheat, forage, barsim, ginger, turmeric, wheat also. In case of Uttarakhand and Haryana and Punjab, all these practices have been shown to understand the agroforestry. Next, please. Intercropping with Khasi mandarin orchards. Khasi mandarins are grown in northeastern country, and mandarin plus groundnut, mandarin plus soybean, mandarin plus rice, and mandarin and ginger or turmeric also grown. So this is example of Khasi mandarin. Next is income from various crops grown with poplars. Tomato with poplar, onion, ginger, turmeric, carrot, turnip, mustard, soybean, peas, barsim, etc. So we can see that the maximum in case of turmeric yield is 4,000 kilogram per hectare, and duration is 89 months, and we are getting net income of 3,900. It was very old, that is in 1994, and in present situation, if you see it, uh, it can be more than 40 or 40,000 to 1 lakh. Next, economics of ginger production under Dalbergia Siso. So ginger and garlic can be grown with Dalbergia Siso also. Next, this is the example pictorial illustration of different agroforestry systems. Turmeric, beet. Next, please. This is the growth and yield contributing characters of ginger grown under different agroforestry systems. Coconut guava ginger, coconut lemon ginger, ginger open condition, all these is being shown. The coconut guava and ginger gives the maximum yield, the 32.43 ton per hectare. Ginger yield. This is ginger yield. Okay, next. Yeah, soil fertility status. After harvest, of different field crops with and without association with neem. We grow all these crops, cluster bean, cowpea, green gram, till, with the neem as a Dirsita indica. So what is the organic carbon in case all, if they're all in neem, we get good organic carbon. Available nutrients are also very good under the neem. Next is crops without association, without association of Dalbergia siso. In case of Dalbergia siso, we are having all the values higher in comparison to sole crops. Next, this is table 12. Comparison of tree crop interaction in peak-based agroforestry system. Agroforestry system is S means sorghum, फिर sorghum plus teak, then sorghum teak. We are having all the values higher. Next, please. Effect of agroforestry system on soil properties. Here, different soil properties: pH, soil pH, organic carbon, exchangeable calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, or aluminum. All these had been shown in different agroforestry system. Either effect of different land use system. How the land use. Next, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. How the different land uses respond to the or chemical properties of the soil. So now we can see the effect of different land use systems, that is forest, grassland, horticulture, agriculture, and wastelands, with respect to different soil properties. That is how the pH is changing with the land use pattern, how the organic carbon is changing, electrical conductivity, and the cation exchange capacity or available nitrogen, phosphorus, or potash are influenced by the land use pattern. So you can see, in case of forest and grassland, all these things are very good. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Crop production. This is in this crop production in traditional agroforestry system in upper transect of arid western Rajasthan. Here the tree species are Prosopis cinerea, Acacia nilotica, and Gigifus species. These are the tree species, and the agricultural crops are palm millet, moth bean, cluster bean, sesamum, and mung bean. So these are the production kilogram per unit. Next slide, please. Yes, these are the pattern of crop grain production kilogram per hectare of different identified traditional agroforestry systems in arid western Rajasthan. These are the AC means away from the canopy and BC means below canopy. All these values given for the particular tree species below canopy and away from the canopy. In case of neem, babool, and acacia cineraria, also Prosopis cinerea, khejri, Acacia nilotica, Prosopis cinerea as a Dicta indica, 3 species, and Salvadora oleatus. All these tree species with pearl millet, mung bean, moth bean, cluster bean, and sesamum. Percent decrease in the yield in comparison to sole cropping and below canopy and away from the canopy. Next, please. These are the economics of traditional agroforestry systems of arid western Rajasthan, Prosopis cinerea, Acacia nilotica, Prosopis cinerea, Gigifus species, Prosopis cinerea, Gigifus species, and Prosopis cinerea. These are the expenditure and returns in rupees per hectare. And net benefit cost ratio is maximum in case of Prosopis cinerea and Acacia nilotica, which is 2.3. If we invest rupees 1, we will get rupees 2 rupees 30 paisa. And next, please. Next, please. Next slide. This is the example of Rohida, a pure tree forestry species, and mothbean as agroforestry system. Next, please. Next slide, please. So by viewing all these things, we can conclude that agroforestry systems have immense potential to enhance the productivity and sustainability of agricultural lands or the land resources which have never been put into the service due to so many factors can be better used by adopting different agroforestry practices like intercropping of ginger, turmeric, colocasia, mothbean, moong bean, in agri-silvi, agri-horticulture or agri-silvipastoral home gardens and agri-hortipastoral system for higher remuneration and useful combination. Age and spacing of the tree species, if properly managed with recommended agronomic or silvicultural practices for a particular region, could increase the production potential sufficiently. Hence, such systems need to be made popular among farmers for sustainable livelihood. Next, please. Various agroforestry systems like silvi, agriculture, agri-hortipastoral. Next slide. Silvi-hortipastoral contributes significantly in enhancing the physical and chemical properties of soil, especially the topsoil, effective recycling of the nutrients, the overall improvement in the physical properties of soil, suggestive of role of agroforestry systems for sustainable land use and objectives of doubling the farmers' income in India. Next. So I think that all of you must enjoyed all these things. What is the doubling of farmers' income and what is the concept of doubling of farmers' income? How the forestry and agroforestry practices can be adopted and utilized to achieve our Prime Minister's motto. So thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.